Welcome to week 3 of the Bamboo Project wholesaling videos. So this is basically us documenting week by week whatever things we might be going through during this process of us learning how to wholesale properties. So that's new levels that we've reached probably, new situations and all that stuff, and kind of just relaying the important things that we've learned during the week. So yeah.
So how do you feel about your wholesaling experience so far?
I definitely feel a bit discouraged because of the problem that I keep running into this week, and that has to do with my financial statements. And not discouraged to the point where it's like, oh my God, I'm never going to wholesale it again. It's a scam. It's not like that. It's more so of this is something that I need to kind of nip in the bud in order for me to get deals. Not to get deals, to get them under contract. Because I'll sell my proof of funds. No, my proof of funds, I'll have it at a number that's good for me and everything like that. And it's just, it hasn't worked out the way that it's supposed to. I've made stupid mistakes writing on the thing. They gave me like a financial statement sheet to fill out, and I think I put funding as the bank account and then put the purchase price of the property, not including closing costs. So it's just a lot of kind of silly things. And then people don't even tell you that they're not interested, or that, you know, you're incompetent. I'd like to hear that at least. They just don't answer anymore. It's like, fuck, am I still getting this property? So that's the thing that's annoying me. So I feel a bit annoyed about the process right now. Still hopeful. I know how to find deals. I feel competent at finding deals, definitely. I feel like, okay, I know how to look for comps. I know how to search the areas and stuff like that. But right now I'm trying to figure out what place would be favorable for me to wholesale in, because everywhere has its own rules. Like, example, in Philadelphia, they want you to put up your earnest money deposit like 3 days after getting the property under contract. Or in Ohio, if you're doing repairs on the property, they want you to pay that like up front or something like that, the amount that you're doing for repairs, plus an additional 50% of that. So it's like a lot of different weird things depending on what state I'm wholesaling in. So that's something that that wants me to like. That's why I really want to find a place that is more favorable for me. Like, okay. Oh, another thing. In different states, they don't allow you to take the listing off of no, they don't allow you to keep the listing on the MLS service. Because if you have it under contract, they're supposed to take it off. And that's something that I would want to use as a bargaining chip, because it's like, if you feel uncomfortable about taking the listing off, you could keep it on while we have this under contract. But they're like, oh no, you're not supposed to do that. It's illegal in this state. So it's just a lot of little stuff. How do you feel?
How do I feel? I think at this exact moment, I feel like, I don't know, like a hit. Like if you fight and you got hit. Like I feel like I got hit. Like that's what it feels like. I feel like during this week, I was on a high. I felt like, okay, I got a bunch of deals that I found. Then I was like, okay, I actually have a property under contract. Like I signed it and the seller signed it. I'm like, this is my first contract I've ever had first property I've ever had under contract. So I was excited. And then as it started going more into the process of actually giving it, because okay, we're also a part of the 10K club. For anybody who does not know, that means that every time that we find a deal provided with somebody's name is Jerry Norton, he has a YouTube channel, he provides us with $10,000 for that deal. So once you find a deal, you submit it to him, and if he approves it, they give you $10,000 for that deal, and so on and so forth, right? So, where was I? Okay, so that was the plan. So as I got the deal, started going through that process, I started seeing more and more things that I guess were kind of falling apart. So I also had sent the contract over to my uncle. I had talked to one of my friends about it, just because I wanted to kind of get their opinion on what the contract said and things like that. One of the things that kind of messed me up in the beginning was that I felt like I fumbled the contract a little bit because Jerry wants the contract to say that it's 30 days settlement of the property is in 30 days. People who do not know, settlement means that's the closing date when the property is transferred from one person to the other person, right? And he wanted it to be at least 30 days from the execution date of the contract. But the person that gave me the contract, it was actually like, let's say 5 days. Let's say I signed my part of the contract on like a Monday. Then the next person signed their part of the contract on like a Thursday or something like that. So, but the contract was started on the day that I signed it. So it wasn't actually executed until I guess I signed it. Until we both had signed the contract. So whatever day that they signed it. So now I think about it, the contract will be executed whatever day. That was it. They had put in a contract that the settlement date would have been from the day that I got the contract. I don't know why folks say I know this stuff. Which would have been the day I got it. But that's 25 days, not 30 days. So I had to go back and get an addendum written up and had the seller sign that. So at first I thought, okay, I don't know, it's going to be a whole process. I got to figure this out because also I have a 10-day inspection. So the 10-day inspection means that I have to have somebody come to the property and see if anything is wrong with the property before I give it to Jerry. And it also allows for, if I had the situation set up, but I don't, if I had other other investors coming through to buy the property, they would come through, look at it, and see, okay, I want to pay for it, I don't want to pay for it. So I have a 10-day inspection period. So I don't want to waste that time because after the 10-day inspection period, you pretty much have to put up, the money. Put up the money for the property, which I don't have. So that kind of causes an issue with that. So I got the addendum written up. And then after the addendum was written up, I'm like, okay, everything is good, I'm good to go. So I submitted it to to Jerry. It's called a deal genie. That's what they call it. So I submitted to the deal genie, right? And I waited maybe 10 hours, 12 hours. I got a response, only to find out that the house that I got in the contract for $80,000, which I thought was a good deal because I'm going to explain to you why my numbers thought it was a good deal. My buy price for this property was $90K. The ARV, which is after repair value, was $180. Or $170 to $180. That's what it was. That's the numbers I got, right? I got it for $80,000. It was listed at $86. So I'm like, okay, this is a good deal. Excuse me. When I submitted it and they gave it back to me, they told me that the actual ARV of that property, which is after repair value, which means after it's fixed up, is only worth $113,000, not $170 that I had originally. So now that kind of fucks with all my numbers because they're telling me that the house I bought for $80,000. I should have bought it for $22,000 with the repairs that it may have needed. On top of this, another thing too with the specific deal is that I chose this property because it did not need a lot of work. So you could put a little bit of money into it and get a lot of money out of it. That was the initial plan that I had when I chose this deal and got it under contract. So they said that I would need about $30,000 worth of work. My numbers had it originally at 20-ish, maybe 20 if you were really trying to do something nice to the property, which you didn't really need. They have it at 30. So like I said earlier, my property needs to be at $22,000 buy price. I have it at 80. So you can see how the discrepancy is there. I have to get the price down from 80, which I already have it under contract at, down to 22. And I don't see how that's going to be possible. The other problem that I'm going through right now is that because it didn't accept it, I have to now find an investor that will purchase the property. So I'm talking to a couple of people. I called somebody today and they told me that they don't really do turnkey rentals. They prefer to go in and fix it up. So I'm talking to them, but the problem with what I'm doing right now is that they said they would prefer to have a property they can go and fix up. So the issue is that I have a 10-day inspection period. So after the 10-day inspection period, if something is wrong with the property, then I can kind of back out of the contract because something's wrong with the property that I didn't expect, unless they want to change the price of it, right? But if I don't have somebody inspect the property, then I can't terminate the contract. So if I'm waiting for this person to respond to my text message or my emails or my phone call, that's eating up my 10-day period. So now I have to call different people to see, okay, see if I want to buy it. So right now I got about 3 no's. One person said no because she said that it's an on-market property which she doesn't want to purchase. The other guy said no because it's a turnkey place that he doesn't want to do, but I'm still talking to him. But again, he may not respond. Like Melissa said earlier, he may just not respond to me. I have no idea what he might do or say. So I can't really rely on it that much. It's like, okay, you put it out there into the universe, you text him, call him, do what you could do, and then I have to move on to somebody else. So that's kind of where we are right now.
Who's the third person?
Oh, this is the third person I called. He was a wholesaler. So he was like, he's like, nah, I'm good. And I called multiple people, and I've left messages and things like that. But like I said, as far as finding somebody to buy the property, it's going to be a little bit hard. And the thing is, that was the other thing too. So when I put my numbers in for the software that Jerry has, and they commented back, they had chose comps. Now, people who are listening to this and don't know what a comp is, if you want to find how much your house is worth, you have to find out how much the houses in your area are worth. So if the house next door to you sold for $300,000 and your house is exactly the same as theirs in terms of square footage, bedroom, bathroom, things like that, then your house will probably sell for something similar to that house. So that's how you kind of figure out the value of your house. They're called comps or comparables. So the comps that I found for my place, they didn't choose those comps. They chose their own comps. And the comps that they decided to choose were a lot lower than the ones that I already had chosen. So what kind of got me annoyed was that they had chosen a comp that's, let's say, I'm going to give you the address. One was 137 Glover, and then that's the one that they chose. But there was one that was at 125 Glover, which was a better comp for me because it had a higher buy price or had a higher ARV. It sold for more money. So when they chose that number, it messed up the averages because the price per square foot, let's say it's an arbitrary number. Let's say it was $90 per square foot for the comp that they chose. But the one that I chose was just 5 houses down from that one, sold for like $140 a square foot. But they chose that one as to say why the deal I have is not a good deal. So that kind of annoyed me. But I do understand why some of the other comps that I chose before that were not good comps. So as far as going forward, it helps me to kind of understand what was the issue. And some of the comps I had gave them originally were kind of far. They were within a mile, but according to somebody, I told Melissa, I don't know where you heard, but who told you the 5 mile thing? Who said that? Oh, Ebony said that? So one of Melissa's friends has said that people look at comps 5 miles away. Now that's far as hell, in my opinion. Within 5 miles. That's far to me, but I'm not in real estate that long. But he only wants comps within a mile. That's what he said. However, when I give them comps within a mile, they're like, well, we have better comps that are closer. I'm like, okay, fine, I get that. And like I said before, there was comps I was doing. Instead, the property I had was a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. But I had put comps in there that were like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath because they were similar square footage. So I assumed, okay, if they're the same square footage, if you go in there, you can just knock out some walls, add another bedroom, it'd be the same thing. But they felt like, okay, no, it should match up. It should be a 2-1. It should match a 2-1 to a 2-1, not a 2-1 to a 3-2. That means 3 bedrooms to 2 bathrooms. They said you shouldn't do things like that. And the other thing they said for finding comps would be not crossing major roads, train tracks, highways, things like that, because the neighborhood can change. So you may cross Park Avenue, and every house on the other side of Park Avenue is going for $100 million, and the house on your side is going for $100,000. And it's like you can't use it as a comp because your house is not on that side. So the other issue I have with that is that there's no specification as to what a major road is in the response that they gave me, because one of the comps they gave, I believe, was across what they deemed was a major road for me. But they still took the comp on that other side of the major road, but that major comp that comp that they chose did not benefit me. So I was just confused about that. But I still feel like there's room for me to kind of figure out what it is I want to do or how I want to go about finding deals. So I feel like I have the formula and a system to actually find deals, but not have to just find them. But this 10-day period situation is kind of, messing things up in a sense. So that's where I'm at right now. So yesterday, me and Melissa were very excited before we got the news that the guy said, no, we're going to buy this house. We're going to do 5 deals a month. We're going to do $50,000 a month. We're going to move out of here.
Looking at apartments.
He told me, like, we can get a 2-bedroom apartment because right now we're in the studio. So we was like, listen, because at the end of the day, I believe, even still now, I believe I can do 2 deals a month. Minimum. It should be $20,000 a month. I'm pretty sure I can do, I'm very, very sure I can find 2 deals a month if I put all my energy into it, right? The only problem I have with that is this current deal that I have. And honestly, the only, I guess, downside or like a repercussion to this deal, if I don't get it done, is $1,000. But it is $1,000 I don't have. technically, because if my sister gives me the money that I got from my dad's passing, then I can use it to cover my loss, and then it's kind of like you just kind of chalk up to the game, I guess. But it's not something I want to do. But like, it's a learning experience. So I'm learning, like I said, the contract got to be tighter for me. I got to make sure that I have in there inspection period clauses. Oh, that was the other thing too with the contract, with the inspection. They had only checked off one thing. So, and again, I don't know how this works exactly, but on the contract, it has said something along the lines of, I can only check like mechanical and structural issues. But they had like 7 other things on the list, like electrical, termites, water damage, sewage, radon, lead, and those things wasn't checked off. I wasn't allowed to sign next to those because it was an electronic signature. So I was like, nah, I need to make sure that I have my signature next to these because I don't know what would happen if we find lead or radon or some other issue and I'd have my signature next to that. So I can send that back the first time with that contract. So it was just a lot of back and forth because it's my first deal. So like I said, it's a learning period. And it's weird because this happens to me all the time as far as feeling discouraged about things. My mind might feel like it's more daunting than I had expected, but my body doesn't allow me to kind of not keep doing it. It's weird. So my brain might be like, yeah, I don't know. But then it's just like, well, did you try this? Did you try that? Did you do this? Did you do that? Did you try this? Did you exhaust all your options? And then once I do all of my options, then I'm like, okay, I have no other options left. But then by the time I get to option 10, I can think of 5 more options. And I get to option 15, I'm like, damn, I can think of 10 more options. So that's kind of how it goes when I'm thinking about finding or doing something new or things that are kind of hard. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, let me see what I have on my thing. Oh, you were talking about the change your voice.
I want to say something else
Okay.
actually too. And one of the things that I mentioned earlier about like my deals kind of falling through has to do with me not making personal connections with the people that I'm talking to on the phone. And I think that what this past week has shown me is that how important that is for the process, because I thought that the main incentive was the agent getting a double commission, getting a dual agency, so they'll double their commission that they would make off of the deal once it's closed. I thought that was the main incentive. Like, okay, once I say these words, that means you now give me the property and we're good. But that's not how it works. And something that I realized with Donivan when he was making his deals and how he was able to close a contract in the first place is that he talks to people on the phone, like they're people. With me, I think I'm like, oh gosh, it's an agent. This is an agent. This is someone that knows more than me about this. And then I get into kind of like a smaller mindset or make myself smaller in a sense. So I think that really gets in the way because if I'm not thinking of the person on the phone as a person, then I miss the cues in conversation that would make them feel more comfortable and would not make it as such a strict business transaction. Because if I'm presenting myself as in like, okay, you're just this, I'm just that, this is very strict, I can't be confused when the time comes and now it's time for me to give my financial statements and it's time for me to give my proof of funds. It's time to be, because everything is literally going by the books. Where if they are more lax with you, or if you're able to have kind of like a conversation with them, not necessarily pertaining to real estate, it can be something very small. Like example, one of the cues that I missed, I was on the phone with a lady, not this week that passed, but I believe it was the week before that, and she was putting her dog away in the other room to speak to me on the phone, and that would have been a good instance to be like, oh my gosh, you have a dog? What kind of dog is it? Or something like that, something to that effect where it's not strictly a real estate conversation. Obviously, she has a dog, so she probably likes dogs. She'll be able to talk about it, kind of feel good about talking about it. And when you make those genuine connections or like those little, have those interactions with people, they're more likely to kind of put their neck out for you. In a sense, or they're more likely to kind of like push you a bit forward and want to do it, not just for monetary reasons, but because they kind of fuck with you as a person already. So that's something that I'm taking into heavy consideration and want to work on in these upcoming weeks. Because I feel like once I get that down, I have a under contract. Another thing too that also kind of falls in line with what I just said too is my voice. I know I have an amazing voice. I know you're hearing it right now in the computer, and it's amazing. But when I get on the phone, especially when I'm nervous and I'm anxious, my voice be sounding like this, like, "Hi, how are you doing? My name's Melissa." A little bit smaller.
Smaller, you gotta be whispering a little bit. So you gotta be high and whispering.
Have to be like, "Hi." Oh no, it's not like that. Like, "Good morning." It's like that. Like, it's not high. Doing it now, it's funny. I can hear the difference, and I can feel a difference in my throat. So when I'm speaking right now, it feels like I'm speaking right here, and I can feel it like coming from like right here. Where when I talk like this, I feel like it's coming from right here. "Hi, how are you doing? My name's Melissa. I'm a real estate agent from New York, and not real estate agent. I'm an investor from New York." That's how I get on the phone with these people. They probably go, "What the hell?" Or not even that. With my voice being that high, it'll make them see me as either like a younger person. It'll make them either be kind of sympathetic to the fact that maybe I'm new or something like that. Not necessarily sympathetic. It make them aware of the fact that maybe it may make them aware of the fact that I'm new at this, or they may feel inclined to kind of baby me and not take me as seriously because I'm giving off a vibe like I don't know what I'm doing. So one thing that I've been focusing on and trying to be very aware of is how low my voice sounds, like what pitch it's at while I'm on the phone. Because that like whole hi kind of thing is kind of like a conditioning, I guess, from growing up in my household, and like I have to work on that. So yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. Oh, one thing I don't know if I talked about this in the last episode. I feel like I may have. I don't know. I feel like I did. As far as knowing what you're talking about, did I talk about that in the last episode?
I feel like we did a bit.
Okay, well, I don't remember if I did, but if I did not, one of the things I think that helps, which I believe that Melissa would benefit from a lot, is knowing more about the property. But I also think that it comes from being more confident in herself to be able to say what she does already know about the property. Because I don't think that she is willing as much to challenge the person on what they're saying because they're the seller of the property. So she would be talking to them, and she may look at a house and be like, "Yeah, there's a hole in the floor," and the person will be like, "Yeah, so I went through the house today. It's an amazing looking house." And Melissa will look at it and be like, but she won't say anything to them because she may feel like she shouldn't challenge authority because technically, and not even really, that's not the case. But they come across as authority on that situation because they're the ones selling, and she does not have enough information about real estate as they do. But when I'm talking on the phone to people, I purposely look for things in the property that I know I can use as a negotiating, tactic. Like, hey, so you want me to pay $80,000, but there's a hole in the floor, there's no door over here, the landscape needs to be done, there's a roof on, it's messed up, and things like that. And I feel like that helps to be able to negotiate the price down from wherever they have it listed as. And I also was talking to an investor today, a wholesaler today, which I guess they would consider an investor, about doing off-market deals, and we had kind of leaned away from that because we had got into it from doing driving for dollars. That was how we were initially finding off-market deals. And my issue with that is the skip tracing thing. I'm not trying to spend a bunch of money sending out postcards and calling people and possibly getting 5 numbers for one property, but all of them don't work, the emails don't work, I don't know, I spent all this money just to find out that these things don't work. So I was trying to stay away from doing that. But there's a Craigslist tactic that you can use to get properties off market. So talking to her, I might use that because now I have a buyer. Personally, from my experience the third week into this, is that it's better to have a buyer's list than it is to have a deal. I know a lot of people say that it's the other way around, and I was kind of on the fence about it, but the reason why I think that is, from my experience, what I've seen so far, is that everybody has different criteria for buying. So if I come to the table with a deal and it doesn't fit nobody's criteria that I have on my buyers list, it's not a deal. I can have a buyers list of 100 people and then have a deal that doesn't fit for any one of them. So it's not, is it really a deal if they can't fit for any one of the buyers that I have? But if I have a buyers list first and they all tell me, okay, Donivan, this is the criteria I need for the property that I want, then I know, okay, I have a person in my list that will buy this property. I already have a person that will buy it. Now, one person told me on the phone today, or yesterday, not even today, that when he buys a property, they look to kind of rent it. They're more rentals. Nobody I've talked to about investing has said that really. Everybody more or less fixing and flipping or trying to wholesale to somebody else. But this particular person said they want to rent the property out. That is not something I thought about when it comes to wholesaling a deal with somebody. I just thought, oh, you want to come in, fix it, flip it, and then move on about your business. So like I said, I think it's good to have multiple criteria attached to buyers as opposed to having good deals, because a good deal is subjective on who's buying the deal. Because like I said, I found a deal. Oh, this is a great ass deal. If I was an investor, I would buy it. But it's like everybody else is like, nah, I'm good on that.
I'm still on the fence about that.
About what?
The having a cash buyers or having the deals first, because I feel like if you have a deal like because when I think of a deal, I think of like if you were to buy something that's usually $1, like at Arizona, that's usually $1, and you see that Costco sells 10 Arizonas for $5. Like that should be a deal more or less to everyone. But I think that that's why off-market properties would be the ones that they look at as deals, because you get to manipulate that price.
Okay, so this is my thing with the example with the Costco thing. What if the person you're trying to sell that drink to doesn't drink Arizona? So you go in there, you get Arizona for 10 cents, but they don't drink it. So it's like, what am I doing? I'm in a vegetarian school. Nobody wants to buy this. We all drink water here. Ooh. That's how I feel. So I'm like, yes, I think it's a great deal, but it's like the market doesn't want it. So who am I selling this to?
Okay.
So that's what kind of fucks me up.
And then I forgot to mention this too. So this is one of the main problems that I have too. In addition to my voice and how the conversation goes, but when I find deals, they're typically like, I find them like when they just hit the market. Like it'll be up for 10 hours, it'll be up for 5 hours, it'll be up for like a day. And I'll go back to it the next, either I'll already be in talks with that person. Once I get in talks with them trying to put it under contract, the seller does not want to take it off the market that soon. I guess because I done swooped in already and made them feel like, okay, if I have a person here that's willing to pay me at asking price, then we could probably go higher. I feel like that's how they feel. So I think that that's another problem that I have. They don't want to take it off the market that early because they want to see how much more money they could get. They could tell people that, if somebody tries to come in lower than I did, they have a bargaining chip to make them go up, because I already had someone come in that offered me this price. Now, whether or not they sell that and whether or not they come back to me because they won't be able to sell it, we just have to wait and see. But that's another thing to kind of consider, because it's either the properties that you're looking at has been on market for a couple months, so they might be motivated to sell it. That's another thing too. It's the motivation of the sellers that we have to kind of pay attention to, and it's just a lot of different things to kind of have on your mind when looking at properties.
Yeah, and one thing that we've seen recently as far as looking for deals, Jerry talks about putting in like several hundred deals or 100 deals a month, and his strategy is more or less just call all market deals and just put in a low offer, and then if the person wants to negotiate up, you do that, but you always put a low offer in, and then if they come down to it, want to negotiate, then it lets you know they're motivated to sell it. Now, I'm curious about that, because again, this goes back to finding somebody to buy the property, where it's just like, and then they have to get the property under contract and then go through what I'm going through right now, which is as far as trying to get the proper contract in place so that I don't have to get burned out of $1,000, which I am trying not to do right now. But that's where I'm at. So I'm still waiting for the other guy to text me back, because I don't know what's going on with that. Trying to think, what else is there? that I want to touch on? Okay, so one thing that I feel like we've kind of seen, and maybe other people have seen this too, or may not have seen this, but when I call somebody with a offer, right, and they come back to me and they say, we already have an offer on the property, right? My brain always goes to, well, before it's like, all right, but it's it's not going to work. But one, they're staying on the phone with me. So that's always an indicator to me that there's a price. You can go down in price. They're not saying, all right, we're not doing that. That's it. That's my first indicator. But two, if you had a deal or a price that was good, you would have taken it already. Why are you still entertaining phone calls if you already have the price you want for the deal? So that just leads me to believe you probably don't have the price you want, or you don't have a price at all. You're just saying that to get me to go up from wherever I offered you. Mm-hmm. So that's something I've been thinking about with properties.
They did that to me and got me up like $5K.
Yeah. So like I said, I feel like I said, doing this third week review definitely helps me a little bit. But I'm just exhausted because I feel like I put a lot into it, only to come up to this point to be like to go out the way it's going. I think it's exhausting because I'm like, damn, it's not even like, okay, I was close with the comps. They were telling me that I have to reduce the price that I got the property for by $60,000. I'm like, that's not even like, I'm like, damn, like really, like $60,000. That's a lot. So that's just kind of where I'm at right now. But I think I have to. Like I said, I'll make some more next week because I still have a lot of things to do. I have to do the podcast clips. I have to do the basketball highlights. I'm playing basketball tomorrow.
I'm helping out Donivan's mom.
Right, so my mom's running for councilwoman in the Bronx, which is where I live. I live in New York, and then in the Bronx, mom running for councilwoman. So there's all things I have to do, and I want to still look for leads. But I also have this 10-day period hanging over my head of trying to figure out what am I going to do with that? Because I had somebody who I think that's who called me, who was going to go to the property on Monday to look at it, but then what happened? She's like, ooh, we just found out that it's an on-market deal. We don't really do that.
So I'm wondering, like, if you call Brandis and have her take it off the thing, because why does it not say pending or under contract?
I don't know. And even still, they said pending is still on market. Because it's not sold. And it's not off market. Well, sold will be off market, but it's not sold. So it's kind of like, again, like I said, I don't know what a good deal is. And even the lady I talked to today was like, yeah, she saw the area, like, oh, this is a good area. And then she was like, but it's on market.
What the like?
I don't know what that means. So my head is like, I know I'm not bugging when I saw this property. I know this is a property you could find and flip and do something with it. But everybody's like, I don't know how. Like I said, they've been in longer than me. So obviously, they see something that I don't see. All I'm saying is, everybody keeps saying, like, oh, what's happening? What's going on? And then boom, nobody else to take it. So that's anything else you want to say?
I'm pretty sure that's it.
So yeah, that wraps it up for the week 3 update of wholesaling with beginners. That's what we're gonna call a segment, right? Is that what it's called right now? Was it Evicted?
It's like Evicted.
Okay. I like the other title. Wholesaling with beginners. No?
It could be in there too.
Okay. Like I said, I like the title Wholesaling with Beginners because as you can see, we're definitely beginners. We don't know cold calling, we don't know what we're doing. We're trying to figure it out the same way people who are watching are trying to figure it out too. So,
and if we don't figure it out, we're gonna get evicted. Right,
exactly. so if we don't figure it out, we're gonna get evicted. So we gonna do something. We gonna either beginners getting evicted doing wholesaling. So thank you for watching the 3rd installment of this series. If you have not, we have a lot of videos on our channel for our life of doing many different things, of traveling, singing, basketball, we have a podcast, we got hair, we have a lot of stuff. Clothing, food.
Podcast.
Things go on and on. We just, like I said, we just getting started. We have so much more stuff to come. So, Bamboo Project out.
Not I, top tier, top floor, top shotter, you are not top 5. To be completely 100, these people can't keep me from coming, I'm moving now. What you doing tomorrow? If you wanna do it, I say you get to it now. I see the view from the top of the podium, out of your sodium wingspan. I am the they itching to see when you sitting with me, you a wingman.